By the way, on this note, this is not hot potato. If I throw it at you, Steven, you're on the spot, bud. This is not hot potato. And now the last thing that I want to share with you this morning is quite possibly the most important takeaway of this year's event at Montana Camp. The second thing.
I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from?
Yeah, hello, Montana Camp. How y'all doing? Come on now, let's get some high fives. Woo! Here we go. A little louder. Come on now.
Anybody with me now?
You guys can do it. You can stand, you can dance, you can definitely clap. Come on, stand up with me. You do it too, Nico. Woo! Welcome to Montana Camp. Come on, Kristin Francis, get up here. Hey, Montana Camp, you all know Kristin Francis from Washington, D.C. Are you kidding me? Look at that teal. Who's got the tealest hair in the house? That's right, it's Kristin Francis. That was exhausting, huh?
Yeah. I did yoga this morning.
Did you?
It's like lower key.
So, Kristin, I loved your idea. You said, we were talking last week, you said, we're going to Montana, and in Montana they dress like movie cowboys.
I had to go shopping, you guys. Thank you. I really wanted to honor the culture here.
Yeah, me too. And I don't want to stand out.
Exactly.
You know,
I already
'cause
take
I know,
enough attention.
Like, Montana, they're kind of weary of tourists.
Yeah.
And I'm from Oregon, and they'll be like, oh, you kind of look like you're from Oregon. So I went with movie cowboy.
Yeah, I didn't want to be like insensitive to the culture coming from
sure.
DC. Like everything is litigious. We protect everyone. It's a safe space.
Right?
So I just wanted to blend in. How'd I do?
How'd we do? All right. Hey, thanks so much for having us. We're really excited and excited for the invitation. You're dying over there.
Really?
Excited for the invitation from Justin to come and host our first session this morning. But I wanted to take a second and help you do what Justin talked about. Take this next 72 hours, put it into action. And one of the things I know is that there's going to be about 150 of us here today, which means there's 150 different reasons that each of you came here to this event. So go ahead and grab your pen. Let me see what you're working with. Hold your pen nice and high. Excellent, excellent. I love it.
They have pens here.
What's that?
They have pens here.
They have pens here, I know, yeah. A few people on tablets, that's good. And what I'd like you to do is think about what is your intention, what's your intention for these next 3 days of Montana Camp? What are you hoping to get out of today? Maybe write like a 1 to 3 word phrase, and we'll give you about 30 seconds to write that down. Kristin's gonna go all namaste over there while she meditates on that. Awesome.
This is on brand, right? Cool.
All right. Have you got that written down? So here's what we're going to do next. I'm going to put you into a quick exercise. As Justin mentioned, one of the great things about Montana Camp is that this is going to feel a little bit like a campfire. And right now what we're going to do is we're going to transform this room into not a room of learners, but a room of learners and teachers. There's a great truth that when one person teaches, 2 people learn. And so I want to invite you over the next 3 days to put yourself in the role not only of learner, but also of teacher, because that will allow for a greater transformation. In a second, I'm going to put you into groups of about 3. You could potentially do 4 if you wanted. Oh, look at that. It's up on the screen and everything, you guys. You're going to be in groups of 3 or 4. And the first thing that's going to happen is this first person, and let's go ahead and pick the person with the longest hair. How about we do that? Sound good?
That's fair. So it was
Right.
Mike Hyde. We're going to have to pick someone else.
And so that person's going to share, right? And they're going to take about 1 minute to share their intention for being here, what they're hoping to get out of this, what would make for a really amazing Montana camp for them. And then, number 2, is that I'd like these 2 people to simply reflect back something that they can appreciate that the person said, something that makes that person feel seen, felt, and heard. Did that sound Portland enough for you? Oh, namaste. Okay, great. That's tree pose right there. And so I'm just going to write the word reflect. And you want to take about 30 seconds per person. About 30 seconds. How long?
There's a clock in the back if you need support.
What's that?
There's a clock in the back if you need support.
Yeah.
If you don't know what 30 seconds feels like, if you have ADHD, just me?
Anybody? We got a few.
Just me? Okay.
Yeah, it's a requirement, actually, to become a realtor. So all told, we're going to be in these groups for about 6 minutes. About 6 minutes. We'll give you a count. We'll give you a 2-minute warning, a 1 minute, and then we'll finish. All right? Kristin, did I miss anything when I was explaining this? Did that all seem clear to you?
Oh, goodness. That looks so much like me. I feel so seen.
You feel so seen? Good.
Thanks, guys.
I see you, Kristin. All right. Excellent. And then here's the other thing I'd like you to do. While this is happening, listen for any themes or anything that you find particularly encouraging or uplifting, and then we're going to use the squawk box right away so that we can hear from several of you, because all of you are also our teachers this week, and so we'd love to be taught by you here in our opening sequence.
Get
all right?
used to this, guys. This is interactive, it's immersive, it's intimate. That's why we're here. It's going to be a little touchy-feeling in a very safe way.
Yeah.
So get out of your comfort zone, and I promise you, if I have to call in somebody in the room, I'm going to pick the most uncomfortable person. So.
And here's the last thing, Kristin. When we're done with this, I'm going to share with you one of the number 1 ways to increase your conversion rate at getting listings based on what we are doing in the next 6 minutes.
I don't want any more listings.
You don't want any more listings. All right.
Everybody
Excellent.
else.
Hey, 6 minutes on the clock. Let's see, have an amazing conversation with 2 other people. We'll see you in a few minutes. All right, we're going to count this down. And at the count of 0, you're going to yell Montana Camp. Are you ready? Here we go. 5, 4, 3, yell Montana Camp. 2, 1, Montana Camp! Oh my gosh, you guys are so good. You guys are so good. All right. Hey, raise your hand if you were in a group with someone awesome. Yeah, me too. It's so good. Well, as I promised, I'd love to hear from a few of you what it is that came up in your group, something that you'd love to share, something that was interesting, inspiring, uplifting, helpful for you as we've had this conversation about your intention for Montana Camp. If you'd like to go first and you're within throwing distance, that would make my life easier. If you wanted to raise your hand, excellent. And what will be maybe a rhythm we could get into is just to stand, say your first name and where you're from, and then share with us.
Hi everybody, my name is Travis Bakke. I'm from Helena, Montana, and I just wanted to share my mom's intention from being here.
Ooh.
We're both partners in real estate, and she came here to connect with everybody that she could and add value to their lives and see what value that they can add to hers.
Connect and add value. I love that. And what's your mom's name?
Diana Massey.
All right, so hey, for Tyler and Diane, let's do 2 claps, 1 for each of them on the count of 2. Ready? 1, 2. And you hold on to that because you're going to take it to the next person. Who'd like to go next? Give Travis a little bit of a workout. Who'd like to go next? You notice how well Travis did. It wasn't painful. He didn't die or anything. Right over here. And you can throw it. Excellent. And you want to talk right into that. Over the top part. Yeah, you're good.
Perfect. My name is Taylor McLaughlin, and I'm from here in the Bozeman Market Center. And kind of a consensus that the 3 of us had is culture. I do think it's a little sad that we're in Bozeman and we're not number 1 of participation. So we can bring back into our market center and inspire the other people around here on what KBW culture is and connecting with each other, sending each other business, and inspiring success as we move forward in 2023.
I love it. I love it. We're going to go sorority girl style on this one. Snaps for him. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Snaps. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, anybody else a sorority girl? Oh, wait, that wasn't me. Okay. Excellent. Who'd like to go next? Oh, right over here. Nice. Throw in.
Hey, everybody. My name's Cindy Medina. I'm out of Kalispell, Northwest Montana. Keller Williams, Northwest Montana. It was really cool talking with all these people. They all have different ideas and goals and energies and just excitement. And one of the things was growth, personally and with our business, and energy, and it's just looking around at everybody. It's just exciting to be here.
Love it. Growth. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, there's an important distinction you need to learn. This is going to be helpful for you for the whole weekend. So take your hands like this, right? And if you go like this is jazz hands. But if you do your fingers like this is spirit fingers. You have to know the difference. But for you, let's do spirit fingers on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Right at her. Spirit fingers. Love it. Hey, is there someone from out of state, one of our out-of-state guests that would like to share? Yes, our friend right up here in the front.
She blends right in.
The fishing
Love this
agent,
girl.
yes, from near Sarasota, Florida.
There you go. Good
Yeah.
job. Okay, so I am Heather George, and I'm from Southwest Florida. Look, it's even on my shirt. I had a long hike, and it was super fun. But our group was very excited about growth, of course, because that was just mentioned, and very open. So we have people who came to support Justin, and then we have people who came here just with an open mind to see what you guys all have to offer, and we're very excited about that. And of course, all of us are super excited to make contacts with everybody.
Excellent. Who else would like to come in with a spirit of openness? Yeah, I think that's a really great word to key in on. Excellent. So because we just learned the distinction, let's go ahead and do jazz hands on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Jazz hands. I love it. All right, is there anyone else with a burning desire to share, or somebody who says, oh my gosh, they haven't heard me yet, they got to hear this? One more. I know
no one in the back.
There's someone right now who was like, they were about to raise their hand and then they stopped. Who is that person? There he is, right there. I knew you were here. I could feel it. There was a tremor in the force, and I just knew it. Love it. Oh, the handoff.
From Florida to Wyoming.
Wyoming, yes. Whereabouts in Wyoming?
Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Cheyenne, I love Cheyenne.
Sean Miller, and we're part of the Black Hills Market Center. So South Dakota and Wyoming represented as the #1 most people out. Oh, not Bozeman? Okay, just checking. So I just, when we were talking at the table and stuff like that, I threw one thing out, and when we come to places like this, I just want one aha moment, right? One thing, no high expectations, not 30 things that I can't implement, just one thing that I can take back. And I don't know what it is yet. That's why I'm here. So open mind, open process, that kind of thing and stuff like that, and just listen and see what I can find and tuck away one of those little nuggets. So.
One aha, one eureka. Who's looking for that one aha? Yeah, and listen, I don't want you to have a smart notebook at the end of this, right? I want you to be smart. And the way you get smart is you get that one aha, you do what Justin shared, which is you take an action on it. I may share a little bit about this later today. Take an action on it to move it into implementation. To do these things, and thank you so much. By the way, who would have an amazing Montana camp if they had a sense of connection, value, that they add value and value is added to them, that they get culture, growth, openness, and that one golden nugget that changes everything? Would that make an amazing Montana camp for you? Excellent. Let's give our friend a round of applause. And it seems to me, Kristin, that the way to start with all of this is to have a really great conversation about mindset.
Absolutely.
So would you invite our friends up that are sharing with us about mindset?
Absolutely. There is one golden nugget hidden here in the room. If you would all check the underside of your chair.
Ooh, surprise.
You will find the bottom of your chair. The golden nugget is up to you, but we have got some plants, maybe some opportunity for you to find that golden nugget. So can I get Sam Byers up here?
Yes, Sam Byers.
Sam, Samantha, here she comes, and Rebecca.
And Rebecca Del Pozo. Excellent.
There
Give
they
me
are.
an
They're here,
applause.
ready.
Excellent, Sam. So glad you're here. Excellent. Rebecca, oh my gosh, you're terrific.
So we are going to get to know them here a little bit. Josh and I have already done this. We cheated. We had a little happy hour, went out, ate some bison. Anyone ever have bison? By the way, there's some words here that really landed for me. When I open my mouth to put the bison in, I will experience growth.
Stop.
So I'm 2 steps ahead of you guys.
All right.
Yeah, it happened. So we've already gotten to know these fine ladies. You probably already know them because their reputation precedes them, but what you don't know is the story behind the curtain. So today we're talking about mindset. We went through this, Justin touched on this. We can have some challenges, right? Raise your hand if you've ever had a challenge with mindset. All right, raise your hand if you're still struggling with something related to mindset. Exactly. And that's what we're here to address. Samantha and Rebecca are leaders, and they're going to share with us their nuggets. But like I said, their story, the origin story, is just as important because we all come from somewhere. Mm-hmm. We'll get into mine, how we got blue hair and how Josh got gray. What we want to know is what you need to take away from this. So remember the intention that you just set. Listen, open your ears, listen to where they came from and how they made that pivot, what you can adopt today in the next 72 hours that will help you address those challenging mindsets.
Very cool.
Sam.
Oh, I get the honor of going first. Okay. So I am from the Appalachian Mountains. If you've ever heard it pronounced Appalachian, you're wrong, just so you know. Phonetically, you're correct. Culturally, you're very wrong. It's Appalachian, like you're going to throw
Appalachian.
in Appalachia.
Appalachian. Okay.
Yes. So I grew up in a really small town where the unemployment rate, I could get this slightly wrong, but I believe it was 26% at the height. And the best career path that you had was, in that town anyway, was maybe in management at Walmart, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I knew that that wasn't my path. And as soon as I turned 18, I was out of there. I'm one of 4 kids. My dad was a truck driver. My mom was a factory worker or a stay-at-home mom, depending on how crazy us kids were at the time. And together, the most that I ever recall my parents making, supporting a family of 6, was $24,000 annually. So there were a lot of months and years where we relied heavily on food banks. My mom, I hope this isn't ever put out on my Facebook page because she will murder me for sharing these stories. But my mom actually pawned her wedding set and never got it back to feed us one week when my dad was gone on a trip. And that was my lifestyle, and I would not change a single thing about it, honestly. My mom still lives in the house that I grew up, which I think we have a picture of, but I'm not sure if it's easy. There we go. So that is where I grew up. I grew up on a farm. Right behind the house, you can see the garden, where I spent many very hot, humid summers getting mosquito bit and picking green beans. And I would not change a single thing about it because it's made me who I am today. And even though we were not well off, my family was amazing. They had their own struggles, their own challenges. I like to say my parents loved to hate each other. And, you know, I wouldn't change anything about it, though, because it's who I am, and it's what made me know that I was meant for more and fight for more.
Can you tell us a little bit about what that more is? Give us the happy ending.
Well, it's funny you ask that because in any decision that I make now in life, it's at the end of my life, am I going to be glad that I made that decision? And have you ever heard of the book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying?
Yeah.
That circles in my head pretty much every day. So we have a set of rules, right? As an economy, as a culture, we have a set of rules. I believe some rules are meant to be broken, not all, but some, because we are given a lid naturally throughout our lives. And if we only ever perform to that lid, you're never living up to your full potential. So it's, I think, asking yourself and me asking myself, what is it that I want out of this life? Because we only get one of it, and it goes by really fast. I don't know about you, but I don't know how I'm 29 again as a mother of 3 kids, and I'm really 37, unfortunately. And you know, every day is a gift. We have to decide what that more is every single day. Is it more time for yourself? Is it more time on your business? Because that's what's going to ultimately get you what you want. What is it you want out of life? And then every action you take needs to be intentionally focused on that. So for me, what is my more? It's just living life intentionally every day.
And today, folks, she's a successful real estate coach, successful realtor, and she's sitting up on this stage. So there's a journey there, right, from the humble beginnings we saw on stage, on the screen, to how you get on stage with a mindset like that.
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Well, I have ADHD, so when you mentioned that earlier, I was like, yes, me. The flashing monitor over there, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to make sure I'm focused. I am dyslexic, and I have no college degree. When I got into real estate, I had no real estate experience at all. I was in at least $52,000 of debt. I think it was more. That was where I just stopped counting. And so I came from a family as well where the most my parents ever made was $42,000 in a year. And I'm grateful for that, but I grew up in a small town, and I just knew I needed to get out to be able to have opportunity, and so that's what I did. I just celebrated 20 years in real estate with Keller Williams, and life just kind of, hit me upside the head with an unexpected divorce. I ended up being a single mom of 3. And decided it was going to be the reset. So instead of the death of me, it would be the opportunity to redesign my life.
Yeah.
And give myself permission to just go, this is the reset button, I'm just going to hit this and start over. And so that's what I did. Last year was another hit upside the head, and my executive assistant of 7 years and best friend suddenly passed away. And so she had been the one who was always fixing all of my spelling errors. She was the one that was taking all my ideas and helping me implement them. And so last year was really hard. I just remember thinking, I don't know that I want to sell houses anymore. Like, without her and without her help, I'm a mess. And so I'm a recovering hot mess. And a work in progress.
Yeah.
So.
Last week I asked you, Rebecca, and I'll ask you the same question in a minute here, Sam, but I said if you could only tell everybody one thing, right, like maybe one sentence or two, and I'll let you expand beyond that, but start with that, about mindset, what would be your one big takeaway you'd love people to have about mindset and how you think about mindset?
Do you remember what I said?
It was really good. I remember.
Yeah, I totally just have gone blank in this moment.
It's
so
also
you'll have to
under the
help me
chair.
out.
You have to find the
It's
answer
also under the chair. It's also in my notebook in the back that I left back there, which was really good planning on my part. You could come up with a new one on the spot. Sam, you want to give her a minute to think on that and share
Sure.
what yours is?
Mine would be, I don't remember what I said either, but I'll give you what answer came to my head just then. It's probably the hardest battle you'll ever fight and the most worth it.
What does that look like for you when you say, okay, I'm going to fight for my mindset? What does that look like in the day-to-day?
Oh, I have 2 daughters who are in the teenage years, so it starts very early in the morning every day. I think it's just being intentional with where your focus is. You can be focused on, have you ever heard of the RAS, Reticular Activation System, I believe? Your mind is automatically trained to focus on the bad already. And you have to carve new pathways intentionally. And you're going to hear me use that word a lot today and in the workshop later this afternoon. But you have to have an intentional focus on the way that you want your day to go. And then when it doesn't go that way 1,048 times throughout the next 24 hours, you have to reset, right? You have to reset where you do want it to go. And it is a battle every single day. Every single moment, honestly. You have to reset where you want your day to go and be intentional about focusing on that. All right, thank you. And your notebook is really smart. What I said the other day is stop winging it. I was so good at winging it. I could talk my way out of anything, like the jazz hands, right? That's what we're good at as entrepreneurs, as realtors, is in that moment just kind of thinking on the spot. And I realized that I had to bring in systems and models and just stop winging it.
Who likes winging it in here?
I feel personally attacked.
Yeah, right.
And I said this then, and it still rings true. Because as entrepreneurs, what do? We see a fork in the road, and we choose a direction. And we end up going down that path. And the class I teach later is accidentally by design, because that's how I've gotten through life. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And something that you said also, Sam, was the choice to fight every day. It's not just the act of fighting, because I think we all do that, but the cognitive decision to fight.
So walk me through, though, how you think about this, because, okay, don't wing it, fight, right? But I like winging it, and I like to go with the flow. I like to, see how it goes. So how do I do that and fight and use systems and implement at a high level? How do you think about those two things, the juxtaposition of those two things?
Well, I think, like you said, it's a choice. And if your choice is to be accidental or to wing it, that's okay. If that's the design you want for your life, I think that's okay. The cool thing is that I say we get to choose our own adventure. Have you ever watched the shows where you get to select how the ending goes? We get to choose that. And however you want it to go, you get to make that decision, and that is okay. That goes back to the rule system that we're given. We're told we can't do this, we have to do this, we can only perform to this level. It's all a lie.
So if you want to have areas of your life where you're going to wing it, where you're going to ad lib, do that and then come to peace with the results.
Yes.
Yeah. But if you're sitting there winging it and going, how come I don't have what they have?
Exactly.
Then,
And I had to make the decision to lead my life.
Yeah.
Not just wing it all the time. Now I wing it. There's freedom in my life. However, it's because I learned to lead my life in a few small specific ways. And so I've gone from one extreme to the other of the pendulum of just time blocking and doing all the things so systematic and then the other of being the total winging it girl of just not having a schedule or a plan. There is definitely just this happy place in the middle.
Got it. That's
I
really
often
cool.
tell my husband is an extreme introvert. I'm sure you're surprised to see that, and he cannot make a decision. He has analysis paralysis at all times, and I often say to him, people who don't make choices get to do what other people want to do. And the same is true with our life. If we don't get up and make that choice every day to fight to lead our own life, then we will end up being what other people tell us we're going to be, which in your case, Sam, might have been a general manager at Walmart, and you would have been revered in your neighborhood, right?
That is the exact conversation we had before I moved away from home. I was 17 at the time, about to move away, and my dad said, "Why are you moving away? You could stay and become manager at Walmart." And again, there is nothing in the world wrong with that. I knew that wasn't what was meant for me. And that was the first time I chose to lead my life, because up until that point, I had done what everyone wanted me to do. I'd been who everyone wanted me to be. And I said, no, that's not what I want any longer. And that's not what I want. At the end of my life, I know that there's so much more between this point and that point. And so I made the decision to say no to that, and to say no to that lid.
So what happened next, Sam? You moved away. Where'd you move to, and what did you do?
Can we fast forward 15 years?
Sure. Fast forward 15 years.
We don't want to talk about the
middle years.
in-between.
Okay. So there's a messy middle sometimes in life.
Oh, for sure. Do not let me fool you. I am still a huge mess every single day.
No, we just want the highlight reel.
Okay, cool.
Right,
I'm not a mess at all, ever. No, I actually moved away. I was a waitress for a little bit of time. I worked in a call center for a little bit of time. I also did not graduate college, which I am okay with. I kept going back to school and felt like I needed to achieve that because that's what everyone told me I needed to do. So $60,000 of college debt later, I decided not to do that any longer and became a stay-at-home mom for 2 years. No, not for 2 years, of 2 kids. I took better care of them than that. And then in 2014, I decided to get my real estate license at the end of the year. Oh, wow. And by May of 2015, I had paid off $60,000 worth of college debt that I accrued over 10 years.
Wow.
And then since
Good
then.
on you.
Thank you. I also had no idea what I was doing, by the way. Someone asked me actually at the airport yesterday, "Oh, how did you fall into this business?" It was completely by accident.
Right.
Because if anyone had have asked me, what's the last thing you want to do, I would have said, be a salesperson. I am the worst salesperson in the world. I do not want to convince you to do something you don't want to do. I just want to be there for you for the things you do want to do and educate you and walk you through it. And so after being in real estate for a few years, I got into coaching, and then last year my coaching clients closed $132 million in sales volume.
Wow, good for you. I love that. Quick aside, so you do coach, you still live in Tennessee.
I do.
And you do coaching in Tennessee and here in Montana.
I do.
So what does that look like, and who are your clients? Who are your coaching clients?
The majority are real estate agents. I do coach other businesses as well, other entrepreneurs. Majority is real estate clients, and I believe some of you may be here.
Who's a coaching client of
Oh,
Sam?
no, don't do that, because what if
Why
they're
no,
not
I'm gonna
here?
do it. Oh, okay. Perfect.
Okay, we got one.
Yeah, there he is.
Hey, Angelo. So no, we currently have over 100 clients across the U.S. and primarily based out of Nashville, so we do a lot of stuff there in person because that's where I am.
Sure.
I have a lot of leverage now, thankfully, and that allows me to come to beautiful Helena and Great Falls and Butte to do coaching there out of those market centers.
That's really cool. So Rebecca, fill us in on the gap in your story then. So you when last we were with our hero, you had just got into real estate after being a single mom and had an unexpected divorce. How did you get from there to where you are now, and where are you now?
So as a single mom, I realized that I did not want to work as hard. I think I'm lazy.
Okay.
And so
Talk to me about that.
I said there have to be other ways to have multiple income streams so that I can get off this crazy roller coaster of commission sales. And so I leaned into profit share. I saw that as a path because it didn't cost me anything to get purposeful about it. And so I thought, well, I'll use profit share to be able to fund investing in real estate. And so lifetime earnings, $187,000 so far in profit share.
Wow.
So that's down payment money to purchase investment properties. And got intentional about agent-to-agent referrals. So that was kind of the second income stream. So local real estate, agent-to-agent referrals, profit share, and investing in real estate. So that there's multiple income streams working for me so that I don't have that pressure of I've got to go sell houses.
Gotcha. And what market do you work in?
So my husband, Mike, is here, and we serve the greater Seattle, Tacoma, Washington area. And then we recently bought a house in Hamilton, Montana. And so,
beautiful.
Yes, we're excited.
Bitterroot, right? Bitterroot Valley?
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So
Excellent.
Rebecca, if you have 3 children and you're winging it on your own, and I know in motherhood, there might be a couple moms in the room that we should maybe address this for a moment. I know that there is a lot of winging it that comes in motherhood with your first child, and then the second. By the time you get to the third, whatever, right? Fall in line. But I think that there might be a few people that have a mindset that say, I can't manage it all. I can't be amazing at both motherhood and at real estate, and I'm going to do one of these two things in the cracks. What's something that how would you address that to somebody who might have that drunk monkey?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was me. And I looked around and I was like, I don't know how they're doing it. I've got to figure out how they're doing it. So I started a group called Millionaire Real Estate Moms, and selfishly just shoved a bunch of moms in a room and said, how are you doing it? And did a panel and just kind of asked them questions. And what I realized was they're not doing it all. You can't do it all alone. You've got to learn how to delegate and let go. And the first has to be at home. So I remember one of the moms shared that she had someone that helped her do grocery shopping, and that on Mondays she made meals for the week. And so I thought, well, that's what I'll do. And so delegating at home so that you can be present when you're with your family and not doing the other things, finding the 80-20, and then delegating at work. You cannot do it alone. It requires a team at home and in your business.
Oh, interesting.
Can I ask a question as well?
Please.
Would you say that that was an easy mindset to adopt as far as leveraging at home? Because I would imagine for a lot of moms, it's not, we immediately go to excuses because I just did.
Yeah, so it was not easy. And I knew that it was more important for me to be present and eating a meal with my kids than it was who chopped or shopped for the food. And so when it
There's
was
your nugget, people, under your
Please
chairs.
say that again.
it was one of those moments where I was assistant team leader at the time, and it was how do you front load your week of appointments and conversations. And I thought, well, I'm going to front load my week at home. So if I have, her name was Sarah would go and she'd take my grocery list, go shop, bring it home, chop it up. So I knew on Monday evenings I'd always have one good home cooked meal, and I'd sit at the table and be present with my kids for that 30 minutes that we ate together. The rest of the week could look crazy. Oh, by the way, Sarah did bathrooms. While the meal was cooking, she cleaned the bathrooms. So when I came home on Mondays, I was like the mom I wanted to be. The rest of the week, sometimes I'd fall on my face. However, there was like one day where I was front loading and felt like this will pull me through the rest of the week. And it wasn't easy, but it had to happen.
That's so funny.
So
Mine was
good.
named Sarah, too.
Really?
Yeah. So I have 3 kids, and I never had daycare until my youngest was 9 months old. And the first thing I leveraged was exactly that. Thinking outside the box, if you look at your life and you say, if I never have to do one of these things again, I'd be the happiest woman alive. That's the thing that you leverage out so that you can be more
It
present.
was chopping fruit and vegetables and cleaning toilets. And so it was always like, I want to open the fridge and have fresh snacks to pick from. And that I don't, so
Yeah.
leveraging the thing you just absolutely detest.
And that may not ring true for everybody in the room. I know at home my husband does the cooking and the cleaning, and no, you can't have him. But in our business, I think we do the same thing, right? We're prioritizing one thing over another. We are jacks of all trade, master of none. What is one mindset principle that we could adopt that would give us some focus to say, what is that thing that we could leverage, or how do I need to set my intention for the day, perhaps?
So I think you said this earlier, the ADHD is a requirement to become a realtor, right? I laughed at that because I feel like that's probably true. Also, I think a second requirement is that you're a control freak. So if you are a control freak, raise your hand. Okay.
Recovering control freak.
Yes, also recovering. I had the hardest time giving off, which is so silly now that I look back on it on the other side. I had the hardest time giving off my contract to close process because I felt like no one can take care of those clients just as well as I can. No, and that's selfish and that's dumb. It's not true. And I realized that on the other side, and I'm talking to myself, none of you. So I think you have to decide where your time is well spent, because while you only have one life, you also only have so many hours in the day. And if you're trying to be present with your family, which we should be, right, then that means you're going to have to intentionally make some hard decisions on what you do need to let go of, even as a recovering control freak. So what are those things that you know you need to let go of? And by the way, my contract to close person is way more detailed than I am, and I am a pretty detailed person, and she does a way better job than I ever could. So that was a lie I was telling myself.
That's so good. What comes to mind as you were sharing is it's selfish of you not to grow. I remember when I sat with that for a while, I wrote it down, so write it down. It's selfish of me not to grow. Because if I just decide that I am the control freak and I do everything great, then I am limiting other people that are going to come into my life and do it better than me, and that I could impact their life for the better. It's going to eliminate the transaction coordinator, contract to close person. It's going to eliminate a showing assistant that needs experience and wants to grow into an agent, right? It's going to eliminate the virtual assistant who helps organize the profit share division of our business. Like, it's going to eliminate the property managers who help, right? It's selfish of me not to grow. So unlimit my thinking and allow myself to think bigger and create that bigger life so that I have even more incredible people around me.
Something else that comes to mind as you're talking is I heard this quote within the last couple of weeks, and if you have people around you that you love, you probably want them to be fearless, right? You want them to go after a passionate life that they love and appreciate. If you're not living that, that is also selfish of you, because the fearful cannot lead the fearless. So if you are leading someone that you want to be fearless, that means you have to be even more fearless. Or I say fearful and doing it anyway.
Kristin, can I
address something that came up for me while I was listening. And I think I want to address this to like the husbands and dads in the room, if I could, real quick, because I really heard like a deep need and relief that you all experienced when you engaged with leverage, both at home and at work. And I, as a husband and a dad, I immediately was like, where am I not seeing leverage that my wife would really benefit from and value, and how could I help have that conversation and help provide that? Because I'm like what do they call this, cheapskate? You've heard this word? And so it was really difficult for me to go in on the idea of hiring a housekeeper to come in, or a house cleaner to come in once a week. It's like the best $100 a week that we spend. It's like so good for our family because my wife wants to be present for our family too, and cleaning toilets does not make her present to me and the kids, right? So if you checked out for a second in that conversation where they were talking about the challenges of working moms, check back in, go back, re-listen to that in your head, because I think there's something important for everybody in this room. So with the people that you live and work with.
There was a moment when I came to KW from another boutique brokerage, and I still at this point did not have any daycare. And just to relate to you guys, I have ADHD, I have no college degree. I also grew up a poor young woman. And when I tried to be a stay-at-home mother, I was good at the mother part, I wasn't good at the staying home part. And so I accidentally built a real estate empire. So when I walked into KW and I met with my TL and she said, what's your production? I said, I have no idea. It was somewhere right around 3 million, which is capping in our area. And she introduced me to someone who was selling 10 million at the time. And she said, you're gonna be the next $10 million producer. And I said, as if. That guy has something special that I don't have. He has a college degree, he has daycare, he has connections, he has a big network, his father was in real estate, who knows, right? I created a whole bunch of narratives for why I couldn't be the next $10 million producer. And I feel even today very passionate about the people in the back of the room that were thinking just like I was. It wasn't a far road for me to be on stage in front of the room. And all it was a change in my mindset, that I could be something bigger. And back to the RAS that you were talking about before, that is, for me, that's my most powerful mindset tool. We made fun of me doing yoga in the morning, but I actually do yoga and affirmations and meditation and journaling, because that drunk monkey is your voice. It's all of your fears coming out, and you can choose to listen to that, or you can choose to create your own monkey and feed it whatever it is that you want. The affirmations piece of it and the meditations is the reprogramming, and it's creating the new narrative for however you want that to go. And Josh, I think you have an exercise for us, don't you?
I do. This is the boundaries exercise. Is that what you're talking about?
Whatever it is that you want it to be.
Okay, great. Whatever it is that I want it to be. Oh,
Jumping
no,
jacks
I'm going to
next.
hold on that one. I want to do something different. So I think something probably has already come up for you in the midst of this conversation that we've had. You've had, I love what Sam said earlier, right? She goes, she wants to live a life where she doesn't have regrets, right? Where you say, what am I going to feel like in this decision about the end of life? What's a decision? That's what I want to ask. What's a decision that you have been putting off that you know you need to make, a mindset decision that you know you need to make but haven't made yet? And I'd love for you to just do this real quick. Write that decision down, and then have a 2-minute conversation with your neighbor. So I'm going to give you a second to write that down and ponder that. If that question doesn't land for you, what is a mindset shift that maybe you've experienced this morning? So it's player's choice. What's a decision you know you need to make but haven't made yet, haven't had the courage to make yet? And how can you make that decision with no regrets? Or second, what's a mindset shift you've already had here in the first half hour this morning?
Be ready to do some coaching.
And then after this, I'm going to have a conversation about boundaries and say, all right. Go ahead and do this. We're going to do what's called a shoulder share. So you're just going to do this with the person sitting next to you. So just groups of 2, maybe groups of 3 if you have to. All right, groups of 2, and just take 1 minute each to share what you wrote down.
Vendors, you are welcome to participate. There is some, you guys can, buddy up. You should learn from this too, right? A couple of entrepreneurs out here. Oh, I thought you did. That's okay.
If they say something that really resonates with you and you want to +1 it, I'll just look to you guys if you want to add something to what they said. Okay. Make sure you're affirming it and not negating it. Sure. Does that make sense? Yep. All right, wrap that conversation up. And we'd love to hear from a couple of you, maybe 2, 3, 4 voices we'd like to introduce into the room. So do this for me. Look up here and I'd like you to think about your posture real quick. Just doing that, everybody sat up a little bit. I'd like you to improve your posture by 10%. See if you can improve your posture by 10%. How's that feel?
Mountain pose.
Oh, I didn't even know that hurt, right? Well, that feels kind of good. All right, and then it's campfire, all right? And somebody's about to share. I'd like you to just lean forward. What's paying attention and leaning forward look like to you? I'll fall off the stage. All right. Who'd like to share? We're in a room of people with improved posture and leaning forward. Stuart Bozeman, right back there.
Throw, and if you have an open drink, you need to come get this.
You can relay it, Kristin. Oh, so close. If you guys don't know Stuart Binnenstock, I call him Stuart Bozeman. It's in my phone. Go for it, Stu. What do you got for us? If you could hold that up.
All 3 of us said the exact same thing at the same time, so let's just try it again. 1, 2, 3. Stop winging it.
Stop winging it. Excellent. Rebecca, too. That was your thing, is stop winging it. Why is that so valuable a phrase for you?
It's so valuable to me because what I realized was that I can't do it all, and I can't do it all at once. And so it was just win one day. So stop winging it one day of the week. It's probably not going to be tomorrow. It's probably not going to be Monday. But pick a day in the next 2 weeks, and this is your perfect day. You show up, you move, you have the right affirmations and mindset. I've looked at my prayer board. I've thanked. I've done all the right things. I even went on a listing appointment. I had a conversation about someone getting into the business, all the things that bring me joy. And so for me, I chose that day to be Monday. Whoa. Go a few weeks into the future, pick a Monday, and design that day like it's the perfect day. You showed up as the person, the spouse, the partner, the mom, the business owner that you desire to be. Just one day. That's it. One day a week. Start there.
So good.
What objections do you think that he's going to face when he does that?
What objections?
So he wakes up on Monday morning and he has his day planned out. What's going to come at him that's going to throw him off track? And what does he do about it?
Oh, there's so many things. Like you're just tired and you want to hit the snooze button. So maybe the baby step is you decide not to do snooze that morning. It's so small that you're setting yourself up to win. So that one thing would be, I'm not going to snooze on that Monday. And if you do that, you've won. So now you're sitting up.
Anybody
and so then what? I'm going to make my
Habits?
bed. Yeah, it's just tiny, tiny little things. I made my bed on that Monday. I didn't hit snooze. I made my bed. I can look at myself in the mirror now and be like, way to go. I'm proud of you for not hitting snooze and making your bed. It's going to be a good day.
It's so brilliant because sometimes we look, oh my gosh, that was Rebecca Del Pozo, and she does it 3 days a week or 4 days a week and has all these perfect things. And again, we're looking at your highlight reel, not your everyday. And it's and here I am, hitting the snooze button 12 times and, I can't remember the last time I made my bed, right? I'm not there. And yet what you're describing is something that literally, if you did that 52 weeks for 5 years and added each of those tiny, what James Clear calls atomic habits, right? Microscopic little habits. Before you know it, you'd have like this catalog of really rich habits that serve you. That's super cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Stu. Oh, Mitch, did you want to add something?
We talked about it. I'm one of the ADD kids in the room too. So I think what happens is, especially in our business, is things do get thrown at you. So I just said the two things that I try to do is time block and make a list. If I can do, and then at least you're winging a lot less than you normally would.
Winging a lot less than you normally would. That's
not
I think
winging
in our
it.
business, you have to, right? Stuff, you get a call that you didn't know you had. It happens every day. And I have an 8-month-old and a 2.5-year-old. So
God bless
there's
you.
a lot of things that happen that you don't think are going to happen.
So
Right.
not winging it is the difference between life happening to you and you become the victim, that's your mentality, and the life by design, right?
So good. Yeah.
And I think, I know my drunk monkey says time blocking, right? Oh, that's something like DC people do, not DC, but on the disc profile, DC people. I'm a DI, so I'm a cheerleader, I'm getting it done yesterday, and it's great, but one thing I'm allergic to is structure and organization and routine. I'm violently allergic to that, yet I need it to thrive. And so that mindset that I've adopted, which is I don't like this, but I need it, right? Taking your vitamins or doing yoga or meditation, all those things you don't want to do, but you know is going to be really good for you, that's a moment for you to parent yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Kristin, because I told you guys last week I was at a training once, and someone said you should time block every second of your day. They literally said this: if you have white space in your calendar, it's white noise in your life. And I may have said a 4-letter word or two about that, because I was like, no, like that just sounds horrible and rigid, and now this person does great things and that really works for them. But I took your approach, which is, okay, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I said, and can I do it Monday? Can I do it for 4 hours? Can I do it for 6 hours? Maybe 3 days a week for 6 hours, be really intentional, be super productive, like hyper productive for a short stint.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you.
Yeah,
You're
please.
saying 4 or 6 hours, like, no way.
Okay, tell me more, I like this.
No, 20 minutes. Hey Siri, set the timer for 20 minutes. Turn off notifications.
Love that.
Sit down and go through the pipeline or make the calls or do the things. I can do something, ADHD friends. I can do something for 20 minutes. Can I get an amen? So 20 minutes. That's it.
Perfect.
Then stand up.
So good.
Get a drink of water, go to the bathroom, check my messages, do whatever. So yeah, sorry to interrupt. But
Not at all. No.
Like there's no 4-hour stint of doing anything.
Is it okay that different people are different? Yeah, so like a lot of this is about, okay, so mindset we can all agree is really helpful, and then you have to figure out how does this work for you, your life, your 8-month-old, 2.5-year-old, your different, the things that you need, to get where you're going, to get to the life that you want that doesn't have those regrets, where you're actually at peace with the areas where you are winging it, at peace with the areas where you're bringing focus to it, whether it's for 20 minutes or 4 hours or...
One of the things that I self-diagnosed was that hijack in the morning. So you get up, and whatever the first thing is you do, to your point, is how the rest of your day goes. So if you choose to snooze, then you might give yourself some other more rope, just enough to hang yourself. And so for me, it was looking at my phone, whether it was social media or email or text messages, I would instantly start to react.
Yeah.
And so I just put it down for an hour until I got through my morning routine, and that was something I could take control of, that was for my mindset, and it wasn't letting life happen to me. I bet you have some similar advice to your coaching clients.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing that I heard just in what you said, Rebecca, and what you said, Kristin, is reacting. I think we spend so much time in our lives just reacting to something that happens. And the way we negate that is by taking intentional action to begin with toward the things that you know you need to do, the things you need to accomplish, the things you need to do to stop winging it, right? So if you're taking that intentional action and saying no to everything else, anything that would throw you off track from being purposeful in not winging it, it's a no. Life is about yes and no conversations, right? Yes to this, no to that. So what are you saying yes to stop winging it? And what are you saying no to keep you on track? So intentional action versus reacting.
Do we have anybody else who wants to share? Can we toss that squawk box? Over here.
Oh, she does over here. Yeah.
You're on your feet, you win.
Cool. I'm just going to go back to my comfort zone over here. So mine is a little bit more grand scale, but also very applicable in everyday ways. So mine is to expect the best and get it. And that seems like pretty vague, right? But you can take it and apply it to everyday things. So time blocking, for example, it's super easy to be like, yeah, I'm going to time block and I'm going to do those things, and even if they're 20 minutes. And then going to the mindset, you allow yourself to think, but what if I get interjected? What happens if I get my kids call or whatever? And you're taking those thoughts and that energy and you're putting it out there. So you're already setting yourself up with that negative mindset to fail. So if you stick to the positive and say, I'm going to expect the best, that my voice is all shaky, right? That I'm going to time block and I'm going to get it and I'm going to do it and I am going to succeed, like even going there. And so it does feel super like vague, but I have found that I'm taking it and applying it to everyday things in my life, and it's working. And I'm just gonna throw this out there that like someday I wanna be on that stage with y'all, sharing my nuggets, so.
You'll have to do yoga too. Was there a moment in your lives where you had this similar realization and you made that pivot in your mindset?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the thing that comes to mind is I turned off all notifications on my phone. Gasp.
What?
You did what? You're a real estate agent. You're always on. I'm available for you 24/7. Like,
Plus, there might be a cat video.
there might be a cat video.
Yeah,
Okay,
that you
there.
need to
We're
watch.
keeping it real. So I just shut all notifications off. I made Mike and my daughter Bella and my mom the favorites in my phone, and then I turned everything off. Turned off all the socials. I couldn't see any of the little red, 2, 3, 4, 17 notification little red circle dot things. I shut it all off. And you know what I found is that my thumb has muscle memory, and it kept pulling down email and rechecking it anyway.
All the time, yeah.
And there wasn't any emergency that couldn't have waited that 20 minutes or that 40 minutes that I decided to be present.
That's so good. So that's actually similar to what Sam just said, right? Which is like life is yes and no. So you used a system to say no for you, to insulate yourself from having to like consciously say no all the time to responding to emails and notifications?
Reacting, like you were saying, is like every time there was a buzz or a beep or whatever else, like they're not all equal value. Like,
yeah.
Cost Plus World Market's having 20% off patio furniture, and that was a text message I just got. Is that really something I needed to get the buzz and look at in that moment? Yeah. Absolutely not. So in my 20 minutes of focus, it was turn it all off.
So good.
I'm still gonna check text messages and voice messages and get back to people.
Right.
It can wait 20 minutes. Be focused and present where you're at.
So yeah, go ahead, Sam.
I was just going to say to what you were saying, I can't find you now. Where did you go? There you are. What you were saying, we kind of talked about this on the roundup, Justin, and I think you told me the phrase, and I might be getting it wrong, but basically being a Pollyanna, expecting the best. So if we are not taking that intentional action to expect the best of ourselves, and then I will also side note that and say, give compassion to ourselves whenever we don't achieve that, then we are the roadblock to ourselves. You are literally running into yourself, and you are the only person stopping you from getting the life that you want, the business that you want. And so I love that you said that, because if we are not expecting the best out of ourselves, how are you going to show up every day? You're not. You're going to show up as a victim. You're going to make that intentional choice, or maybe subconscious choice, which there's a whole lot of psychology that I can geek out on that, but I won't. You are going to take that route, and you're just setting yourself up for that outcome at the end of the day, versus what she was saying, which is being a Pollyanna, expecting, again, I might have that phrase wrong, but expecting the best out of your day, out of yourself, and taking the actions to get there.
Love that.
One hack I was taught, Mike Hyde introduced me to a guy by the name of Steve Dillon who has a sub-6 program where you reprogram your subconscious in 6 weeks. I can geek out with you all day on this. But the hack that he gave me was when your mindset starts to creep into negativity and you feel that yucky feeling in your stomach, oftentimes you'll feel it first before you really identify the thought. When you catch yourself, you go to an anchor thought. Now the anchor thought, and you can all do this very, very quickly, close your eyes. Think of your happy place. Where is it? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What's the temperature? If you all have it, that's the anchor thought that you snap back to. When you catch yourself feeling yucky, you just go to your anchor thought and it resets everything. So pivot, anchor thought, restart. And you add that positive affirmation in that narrative.
That's really good. And I think expect the best attitude is so powerful. When I catch myself thinking I can't do blank, I just switch it and say I can. I can do all things through he who strengthens me. So in that thought, it just like you literally grab that thought captive. So expecting the best and choosing in that moment very quickly just to do the reset and do the opposite.
How do you all deal with, and Sam touched on it, you kind of just touched on it too, if we're going to choose the best, we're going to have to say no to a lot of mediocre. We're going to have to say no to a lot of things we currently do. How do you say no, and particularly with the number of people that depend on you or that you perceive depend on you? How do you do that and deal with this, sometimes the perception like, what if I let somebody down, if I disappoint somebody? What if that client gets mad at me if I don't get back to them at 3 a.m. when they texted? Like, how do you think about that and how do you deal with it?
Well, I am not immune to that. I am also a massive recovering people pleaser. I feel like I growing up, felt like I had to say yes to everything that anyone needed. And that was even to my own demise. And I would probably guess that a lot of us are similar. And the mental hack that I found for that is, and you've been taught this in KW world, is that everything is an appointment, right? Is everything an appointment?
Yeah.
Your time with your kids is an appointment. Your time to go shopping is an appointment. Your time to mow the lawn is an appointment, right? So my hack is, what do I actually not say no to, but what do I say yes to that's going to add to the value of my life that then becomes an appointment, and I no longer have space to tell people yes for things that do not add value to my life.
Right.
Love that.
That's good.
Rebecca, how about you?
Well, the thing that comes to mind is just practical, is that as being a people pleaser, in the moment I would want to say yes if you ask me for something or time or appointment or you want to see this house or whatever. And so I just made a Rebecca rule, and that was that I don't commit in the moment.
Oh.
So I give myself time to go back to my laptop, look at the calendar at the week view, so that I can then come back to you. So ask me, like,
do you want to have lunch today?
Today?
Yeah.
That's a great question. Could I get back to you in like 30 minutes or less? Is it okay if I call you or text you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great. I'm going to check my calendar and I'll be in touch.
Well, that was simple.
So then I go to my calendar and I look at it, because I would, in that moment, I'd say, oh, sure, lunch sounds great, let's go.
Yeah.
But I totally forgot that I had, Bella to pick up at school because it was early release day.
Oh, sure.
I
love that.
Because I wouldn't want to let you down in that moment.
No.
So I don't commit in the moment anymore. Anytime a client wants to meet, or anytime Sam, you want to get together and, talk about something, I'll say, awesome, can you email me? Because then I'll take a look at my calendar and I'll get back to you with 2 or 3 options. Sound good? So I never commit in the moment.
I love that.
It's important. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's got to happen on my calendar so that I can make sure that I look at the week's view and make sure that it's in the placeholders that I've already got in position.
Do you guys want to find out what this feels like? So we can do this real quick. Everybody, real quick, think of an invitation that you could make to someone. Would you like to go to lunch? Would you like to come see my band play? Would you like to grab a beer tonight? Would you like to buy this house? You want a piece of cake, right? Come up with an invitation. You can make it as silly as you want. So real quick, take 15 seconds, think of what your question is. Okay, do you have your question? That was less, okay, perfect. Here's what we're gonna do. When I say go, I'm gonna have you stand up. I want you to walk around 3, 4, 5 people. We're gonna do this super fast, okay? Super fast. And you're gonna have a conversation. So real quick, ask me if I wanna have lunch.
Hey, do you want to grab lunch?
Okay, you have 3 options. Option number 1, no. Okay? Option number 2, no thank you. Okay? Option number 3 is the Rebecca rule. Can I get back to you in 15 minutes? Okay, actually do this. Can I get back to you in 3 seconds? Okay? She's gonna say what?
Sure, no problem.
Okay. Hey, Rebecca, no. Okay? So you can say, no, no, thank you, or can I get back to you, followed up by a no. Okay? Now, there's a reason I'm doing this. I want you to practice it, and I want you to pay attention to how you feel when you do that. We're gonna have a brief conversation about it. So do this as fast as you can. You have 90 seconds to have as many conversations as you can. Go.
Sam, I really want a coaching call with you. When are you available?
Can I get back to you?
Kristen, I've never been to DC. I want to come visit you. Can I stay with you?
Go ahead and find your seat real quick. Go ahead and find your seat super fast. And I want to hear, go ahead and raise your hand nice and high if you would be in a position to share how that felt to say no or no thank you or can I get back to you followed by a no. And I want to do this quick. Who'd like to share? How did it feel to say no? Right here, Shelly.
Some of these people were bad at saying no.
Some of these people were bad at saying no. Yeah. Who was bad at saying no? Okay, great. Who else? Well, go ahead and you pass it to the next person. Who felt awkward, weird, guilt, shame, frustration? Okay, yes, right back there. She's got her hand nice and high. Oh, sorry, you had your hand up. It's not my fault. You had your hand up. You suckered me into it. Yes, ma'am. So how did it feel? Tell us about that.
First off, let me precedent this statement before she goes into this. She can't say no.
Can't say no.
No.
You're disallowed, or it's illegal.
That is her lovely personality. She will do anything for anyone at any time.
Right, which means she's not, am I understanding it right? You'll do anything for anyone who's standing right in front of you and just ask, which means you're not doing something for a bunch of other people because you've said yes to this. Is that right? Or am I misunderstanding it?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, the people in your life say yes.
I didn't say yes.
Okay, so go ahead. How did it feel? Tell me about the negative feelings you had around saying no.
Well, instead of just saying no, I was like, let me check my calendar and maybe we can. Or, I didn't actually say no.
Ooh, okay. Do you ever do this? Do you ever say, maybe I can, knowing in reality you won't be able to?
Yes.
And then later you say, oh, I totally wanted to come to your barbecue, but I was busy. The universal American excuse. So there's a word for this, and I'm not talking about you individually, I'm talking about all of us. There's a word for this. It's called lying. Have you heard of this? I mean, so we can disappoint the person now or later. Just I want to give you that.
But something may come up and you can't actually make it.
Maybe.
It's not lying, it's just...
Yeah, it's just over-optimistic.
Over-optimistic, yes.
Who had a good feeling? Who felt like liberated by saying no? Felt really good. Yeah, could you share real quick about that?
I suckered into that one. Y'all were supposed to raise your hand too. All right, first of all, I want to say my kids tell me all the time, maybe means no. If they've figured it out, I think we can figure it out.
Yeah.
No, I get that guilt of saying no, but I found if I say the positive first, like, oh, you know what? That sounds fantastic.
Ooh.
However, I need to check my schedule.
Yeah.
Then I'm kind of like, I don't feel so bad because I've made them feel good, I made myself feel good, but I'm still going to say no.
So I love that you said that, and that brings up a script that I just learned on this, and it goes like this. So Kristin, ask me to do your thing.
Hey, do you want to come to the Brad Paisley concert?
To the Brad Paisley concert? Oh my gosh, thank you so much for inviting me. That really means a lot that you would invite me. I know that's a really big deal. That's not going to work for me. That doesn't work in my schedule. And I hope you have a really amazing time at the Brad Paisley concert. I bet it's going to be a terrific show.
It's going to be amazing.
Right? So thank you, no, best wishes. That's the framework of the script. Thank you, right? I'm affirming that she asked me. I'm building on the relationship. The fear is if I say no, oh, you don't like me, right? So, but it's, I like you. No. I like you so much, I hope you have a great time, right? That's what we're sometimes trying to protect. So thank you, no, best wishes.
Somewhere in between that and I'm sorry I'm late, I didn't want to be here.
What's that?
Somewhere in between that and the sorry I'm late, I didn't want to be here.
Right. My favorite line in Friends, they turn to Phoebe and they go, oh, could you help us move? And she says, oh, I totally would, but I don't want to. It's a superpower. It's a superpower. Yeah. Hey, why don't you two give us your closing words on mindset? If you could just give us like one last thought before we go.
Under your chairs, here comes the nuggets.
Yeah, here it is.
So on the spot. So much pressure.
Oh, I should have prepped you to know you were going to have one last
He
thought.
did not
You can repeat what you said before if it's still your thing.
I would say surround yourself with people who love you enough to call you on it. So when you do go to those places and say things that aren't in alignment with what you said was important, they'll call you on it lovingly.
Wow, that's so cool. That's great. Power of environment and people. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Sam.
can I make a quick note on that?
Yeah, please.
We actually shared this. This is not my closing statement, but I'll make it fast. Do you know how whales die?
They do? On the beach.
On the beach.
They die by drowning.
Stop.
So your environment matters that much. They eventually get so tired from age or whatever related illness that they can no longer come up for air. So you better make sure that you are surrounding people who will lift you up when you need air, to your point. And I will also say that my words of advice for mindset, if you struggle with mindset, I would probably guess that you struggle with believing you are deserving of a great life. And I'm here to tell you, it does not matter where you're from, what you've done, who you've been. Literally, I can sympathize with anything that anyone has been through. There are people that have struggled just beyond belief with different things and had things happen to them. And you are still worthy of a great life and worthy of an abundant life and worthy of a positive mindset. And I'm here to tell you that you have to fight for it. It's an intentional fight every day, and you're worth it.
I love it. I love it. Hey, we're going to move into a break right now. Do we want to stick with the scheduled time, Justin?
Yeah, we're going to move into the break. However, prior to that, Josh, because we're doing this a little with some flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
My great aha, I posted it on the face pages, was Rebecca Del Pozo when she said, it's selfish of me not to grow. It's selfish of me not to grow. And I'd like us to take another minute or two to throw that really cool squishy cube microphone around. By the way, who knows Jonathan Dupree, Regional Director, Southwest? He introduced me to the catch box, and I was like, oh, I'm bringing this sucker to Montana Camp. So
yeah, I love it.
If you know him, send him a picture. Let's get a couple more, though, because I see note takers. I see people still searching for their one thing, and we're going to do this thing together because we gather.
Yep.
So I want to hear a couple more.
And this is your ticket to break, so let's make sure we hear 2 or 3 really fast. What were some of your big takeaways from this session? What is the area where you need to grow? Because it's selfish not to grow. Is that what you said? Yeah, it's selfish not to grow. So where do you need to be more selfless and committing to your growth coming out of this conversation around mindset? Or however else you'd like to respond positively or appreciatively to this session. Yeah, over here in the corner. Oh, actually, let's start with it over here because it's close. And then we're going to bring it to those 2 gals and then to this woman over here.
Hi. I really have a great aha, and it just came. So I look at my life and what I'm doing, and a lot of it, I'm doing it by myself. And what I'm doing here is, I've got all you people around it. The aha was, I need those people around me, like-minded, that can lift me up. I've been doing everything by myself, and what a difference, how much power that would be in my life. That, I think, is awesome, and that's one of the reasons I'm here. And one of the reasons I'm standing and talking too, because if you notice my voice gets all, because I'm scared to death talking in front of people, so I
Oh, you
force
did
myself
great.
to do it, so.
They say you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, so be very intentional about those 5 people.
Yeah, I don't even
Love
have
that.
people I surround myself with. I'm kind of doing it on my own, you know. Let us be your whales. All right.
Come on, let's give Cindy some love. That was good. That was good.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah, Cindy.
Could you pass this to the woman in like the burgundy jacket right behind you? I think that's what color that is.
Hi, everyone. So a lot resonated with me, but one thing that just keeps coming to mind, I don't know if anybody's read this book, is Atlas Shrugged. And I feel like I'm a pretty strong person that can take on a lot, but when you were saying, you know, to make it to the next level, sometimes you got to shrug things off to be able to jump to that next level, and it just keeps me thinking, like, what are the things that are no longer priorities that I need to shrug off in order to have a better mindset so I can move forward.
I love that. Now we're going for a long walk over to the corner. Yes, right there. She's standing. She's walking. Are you relaying or are you taking it? Oh, you're relaying it. I love it. Oh, perfect.
My aha is, so I became a single mom a couple months ago or whatever, and I've gotten pretty good at leveraging at work. I've hired people to do all that, but then I also struggle with having 2 really small kids at home. So delegating the stuff at home, I've thought about it for a while, and I just felt like I was a failure to do that. So just hearing that you guys do, I don't know why I'm emotional, that you guys do that makes me feel better about it. So.
Give her some love. That was awesome. One more? Josh, do we have time for one more?
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I like how the comfort zones are breaking.
You're going to do great. You're
The
going to do
more
great. Everybody
nervous
wants you
you-
to do well. You're going to do great.
The more nervous you are to share, the more somebody else in this room needs to hear it.
So you say. So I'm Amanda. I'm from Custer, South Dakota. That's when my South Dakota peeps clap for me. Something that hit me right away, like when you asked why we're here. And part of it for me was to gain and to give knowledge to and from family, friends and family. And KW, I just think is, we're all friends. We're just all friends. And so that was a big one. Obviously, the give is hard for me. It's like, oh, I think it, but I ain't gonna give it to you because it's scary. So here we are. So that was a huge takeaway for me. And then when you had said about, like with ADHD and that struggle, because it's a struggle for people who have it to be organized and to do that. But a realization was, I am a mess, but I'm also a masterpiece in the making. And that is not always easy, but it's always worth it. And with that, though, is a lot of fear. I don't know if anyone else deals with fear, but I dread things. It's like, oh my God, my phone's ringing. Do I have the knowledge to answer it? Do I have the knowledge to make the right decision? Do I have the knowledge to do this? Because I'm not really newer, I'm just newer in this, you know, and it's a lot of fear in that. And dread is a prelude to fear. And so I really need to hone that and come into that. And I do have the power to do it. And that was really, really amazing and groundbreaking for me. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's awesome. Well, Montana Camp, first of all, one more round of applause for all of that vulnerability and that honesty.
Absolutely.
Because that's what happens when we gather. Now, I want us to get really, really loud and thank our friends here, Kristin, Sam, Rebecca, and Josh. Jazz hands. That was good, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of practice.
I like that.
In
I'm
the
going to
mirror.
use that. Okay, listen, we're going to take a break here. I'd like the crew to throw 15 on the clock there. I'd like for us to get up, stretch a little bit. I want you to meet these great vendors. They're wonderful entrepreneurs. They have great gifts for you. They have great connections for you. We're around for the rest of the day throughout the camp experience, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And because we gather, guess what? You can still connect, okay? Yeah, look at that. Okay, so listen, thank you, everybody. I felt like it was appropriate to start with personal development so that we can get into professional development.
Perfect.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. 15.